Now, Dewsbury Enquiry has been bet by the club of Man United, and it looks like Sir Jim wants to obviously change exactly what is obviously happening at the club of Man United. Kiernan, Dewsbury-Hall is really one of those players that Man United is looking at to obviously reinforce their midfield. And when I remembered him, I think last season when we beat them by 3 goals, I think to nil, 3-0 at the stadium of Old Trafford. He was really one of those players that was really making rounds in there for you. He's a very good player, versatile player, and has been linked to the club of Man United. Gerard Piqué has come out and really backed Erik ten Hag to obviously be one of those managers to obviously turn around the club of Man United. And then Harry Maguire has come out and said why and how they never really went ahead to get total control of the game as Man United played against Liverpool at Old Trafford in the game that ended 4-3. What a thriller. One of those games that we'll ever want never to forget in the history of Man United, as Amad Diallo scored the winner in the dying minutes. With just 2 minutes to the end of the extra time to go to penalties, he really stopped the lottery game to be played in the FA Cup quarterfinal. So let's see here, close to 300 likes match this video. Don't forget to subscribe because we want to hit 17,000 subscribers before the end of this week, and let's continue doing that and see to get these numbers really go ahead and obviously grow big and better. So Dewsbury-Hall is a very good player, and he's just 25 years of age. He plays for Leicester City in the Championship. He was with them in the Premier League. He got relegated, and he's now doing one of his best services for the side of Leicester City. And this story was broken by Jacob's pen that Man United have made an initial inquiry to Leicester midfielder, that is Kiernan, Dewsbury-Hall Enquiry. If Leicester are promoted this season, his price will be £40 million. If they are not, he can leave for £25 million. And I see no way Leicester City is not going to get promoted. That is it, meaning that his price is going to be £40 million. Now, one thing I like about this, it's this story that followed up by Jacob's Ben that Sir Jim Ratcliffe has already pointed out in internal meetings to Manchester United's recruitment team that a player like Kiernan, Dewsbury-Hall could offer value and versatility to the club of Man United. Why does he offer versatility? He can play as a CDM, he can play in the double pivot, he can play as a central attacking midfielder. That is the versatility that he has gone ahead obviously look at. And it looks like this summer Man United is going to look for players who can play in more than one position because of the injuries we're going to hate to have. You know, they are inevitable, but if at all you're really having very many players that can really do the needful and play in different positions, then you won't be affected. But one serious thing I'm going to hate to know about Sir Jim Ratcliffe is he has an eye for good players, and he doesn't really make a decision by himself like Ed Woodward. Ed Woodward, when he wanted a player, he would just go in and sign the player. He could even really front, the negotiations and obviously try to see to it that he does everything he wants to get that player in. And for him, he made what we call business-oriented decisions when it came to his decisions. He made at the club of Man United, but this owner has gone ahead to recommend to the recruitment team that can we please look at Dewsbury-Hall and look at him and really assess him with the players really want to bring in the club of Man United. I know it threatened some of you, the viewers of United and the supporters, that how do we drop off to that level to go in and sign a championship player. I tell you, Jude Bellingham was a championship player and he went to Borussia Dortmund, and right now he was bought for £105 million from Borussia Dortmund to the side of Real Madrid. You understand? So very many players have gone ahead to come through from the championship and going ahead to obviously play some good football into the Premier League. When you look at players that have gone ahead to come from the championship and really do wonders, there are very many into the Premier League, though it's hard for a player to come from the championship and really hit the ground running. Remember Daniel James from the championship to Man United. He had a very beautiful, for me, good season, first season, but when Ronaldo came in through, we needed to balance off the books of accounts, and the player was given a go to Fulham. And I think then Fulham went ahead to sell him to Leeds on a permanent deal. So For me, I have no problem with the championship player, provided he has the skill set. I've gone ahead to really watch him. Last season, he was playing for Leicester. I watched some of the games when they're playing Man United twice, when they're playing teams like Arsenal, Chelsea, Man City, Liverpool, those big teams. I watched him play, and I tell you what, there is some bit of talent in this guy. Left-footed player, and I think that midfield of Man United lacks a left midfielder. When you look at all the elite midfields in the world, they really have that left-footed player. Real Madrid has Camavinga alongside Valverde and Tchouaméni. When you look at Man City, they're having Bernardo Silva. Arsenal, they're having Martin Odegaard, Kai Havertz in the mix. Liverpool, sometimes they have some Harvey Elliott, but they don't have one. Chelsea, they obviously try to drop deep in Kyle Palmer into the midfield because he really spices up your attack. And remember, Arsenal last season, they really had Granit Xhaka. Now, in any elite midfield, you need to be having a left-footed player. And I think that's one of the things that United is really working on to obviously do the needful. But this is where I disagree with the club of Man United and Sir Jim Ratcliffe, that if he's to cost us £40 million, then I'm not going to go for him. I think there are very many proven players that we can get in at the price of £40 million that are really better midfielders that can do the job. And my worry is that Ineos is so much looking at English players. Dewsbury, I think, is an English player. Look at Braithwaite, is an English player. Ivan Toney, English player. I want him to obviously do something different because United has scouted those players a lot, especially the English best players, born and bred. So all I want to say to it is that they really stretch their scouting to get in more and more players. But if he comes in through for £25 million, I do the deal. I do the deal like yesterday. That is it. If he's for £25 million, I would have gone hit that deal for 25 like yesterday, because you look at other players for £40 million and you feel like we shouldn't really risk a player like that. When you look at Amadou Onana, one of the players we're going to have to be linked to, he goes for £50 million. Add on 10, getting Amadou Onana, Premier League proven, physically right. He can get you everything that you want. And imagine a midfield of Onana, Kobe Mainoo, and maybe Bruno Fernandes, because you would have gone ahead to add another workaholic specimen into the midfield. 50 million, 40 million is a lot for a player who is like Dewsbury. I like the player, but I think he's one of those that I don't really believe in, that he costs all his worth £40 million. I don't want us to do another signing of Aaron Wan-Bissaka, £50 million. Let's obviously get ourselves the best of the best. Then we obviously have something he said when he was really having an interview in 2022. Dewsbury-Hall is a boyhood Man United fan and said this in 2022. Paul Scholes was my idol. It's always been him, and it will always be. Everything he did was unbelievable. I think he's one of the best midfielders of all time. There are parts of our games that are similar as well. We are both small and we are both technically sound. I think I've seen every clip you could probably watch of Paul Scholes on YouTube. So he says that he really loves Paul Scholes. He's in love with Paul Scholes, and Paul Scholes is his role model. He's a born and bred of Manchester, and I think that's why teams are really looking to obviously get him in to play for the club of Man United, and that's why these teams are really so much in him. And we wait and see how he comes in through to fit to the side of Man United. His skill set is not worrying. He's a very good player, and I think Ten Hag can really improve him and really turn him into a much more better player. But my worry is, the amount of money they've gone ahead to put on his head. You can't tell me that we pay 40 million pounds for a player like him. But he's really good. He's really good, and I think that's what I like the scouting. And I think it might be part of the work of Omar Berrada and Dan Ashworth that Man City might have gone ahead to be looking to sign this player, and Newcastle might have gone ahead to be looking to sign this player on a permanent in the summer transfer window, because they've gone ahead to see something special in this guy. We go to Gerard Piqué, formerly at Man United, left so early and he went to play for Barcelona, and he said, I still believe that Ten Hag is a very good manager. I don't know if he will be able to turn things around, but the victory against Liverpool was incredible. It's the kind of victory that will give them strength, energy for the rest of the season. Yeah, it can really act out as a very good turning point for the club of Man United, especially after us beating our number one rival in club football. So it comes out to understanding that he's a player that is not supposed to be doing anything that is contrary to Man United, though he left, but he's really wishing us the best that we deserve as a side of Man United. And for me, I'm really him. I'm really team Ten Hag. You know that. I'm really team Eric Ten Hag, and there is no way I can really back out of that team. I love Eric Ten Hag. I feel like he should be doing more than that, but the limitations are not of him to blame. Who is to blame? We know the right people to blame. That is the board. People has been working with at the club of Man United, and he's really one of those that can hit around this season. I think the win against Liverpool is really very huge, and anyone who underestimates it should really know that beating Liverpool was all in vain, by the way, especially under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Liverpool came up and beat us at Old Trafford, but under Eric Ten Hag, he has so far gone ahead to play them twice. He first won the first game by 2-1, FA Cup 4-3, and on the 7th of April, we are going to be playing them again at Old Trafford, and I anticipate they are going to really lose again because more players are really coming in through. So it was a very good time for Man United to win, and I think it's going to do us wonders as a club of Manchester United. So guys, thank you very much for watching it through. Continue to watch this channel and smash the like button. Lastly, let's talk about this game of football that Gerard Piqué is going to talk about that might have been, or that might be the turning point for the club of Man United. He has said, we didn't really get control of the Liverpool game, so the manager told us to be more aggressive. He put on an attacker and basically said, go man for man. I was up against the striker, fullbacks against the wingers, man for man, all over the pitch. It actually worked. It enabled us to get a bit higher up the pitch, but a bit more pressure on, because there was a period in the second half when I felt like we are letting the game drift away a little. Credit to the manager to see and recognize that. So Harry Maguire is like saying we failed to get control, but the manager did his job. You know, there is a certain platform on Twitter, so on TikTok that I'm always on, and someone said, I don't know those tactics. I don't know those tactics. You understand? I don't know those tactics, you know? And now, look at the player. He explains to what the manager told them to really go and really get this game back in the cup of Man United. And if you doubt what the manager did, then Harry Maguire is here to let you know about what Ten Hag went ahead to tell them to do, to obviously get into that ilk of really winning this beautiful game of football. So for me, I need to eat that Ten Hag really had some tactics in him, and it was a tactical masterclass for him to obviously say, let's do this. To show you that it was a tactical masterclass, it was a risk that he took that Jurgen Klopp wouldn't ever think about. After the game, he said, Man United wanted the game more than us. That's why they went ahead to win that game of football and went ahead to lose. So kudos to the manager, Eric Ten Hag, and that's why I think we should really keep him at the club of Man United. A lot more is left in his head to benefit the club of Man United and take us places as things go by. So guys, thank you very much for watching through. Tell me your thoughts about Dewsbury inquiry made by the club of Man United. Should we get him in? For me, my stance is for 25 million pounds, I get him in. For 40, no way. No way he's a 40 million pound player. What are your thoughts about Harry Maguire explaining the tactics of Erik ten Hag that saw us beat Liverpool by 4-3? And lastly, Gerard Piqué backing Erik ten Hag to be the manager for the club of Man United. 300 likes are what I'm calling in for this video. Don't forget to subscribe to see to it that we hit 17,000 subscribers before the end of this month. Rokan David is my name. You can as well call me RD. I sign out. The Muslims Barakallahu Fikum and Ramadan Kareem to the Christians. We cover you all in the precious blood of Jesus Christ, and may the living true God bless you abundantly. Guys, I'm out, and we are coming back with a live stream to really talk to you, especially the viewers of this channel. Bye-bye.